Yo, what is good, ladies and gentlemen? Gonna share today in this video. We're gonna be reviewing the full kit of Shisui Uchiha. Today we're gonna be talking about every single one of his ninjutsu, including his ultimate jutsu. And to be honest with you, this is one of the most interesting kits that I've ever had to review. So yeah, let's not waste any time and let's get it started. Alright, let's start off with the Fire Soul Phoenix Flower Jutsu. This is a ninjutsu where he throws 3 kunai, not 4. It shows 4 in the icon, but it's actually just 3. So he throws kunai clocked in flames, causing damage, also inflicting damage over time. The effect is small. The critical hit rate is 45%, and his power at max level is 8020. Actually, that's really good and pretty high compared to the other ninjutsu, the 4-star ninjutsu for most of the green characters. The CP cost, however, is 130, which is quite a lot, and the cooldown is 3 seconds. Now, there's one thing that is not mentioned here. The kunais here, each of the 3 kunais has the full damage. So basically each of the 3 kunais has the 8020 damage. So in general, this ninjutsu has supposedly 24,060 power, not 8020. And in order to prove that, we're gonna be using Naruto Uzumaki, the Hokage version, as a vignetta. Hopefully he gets a recut very soon, so we don't have to just use him as a vignetta in the game. Yeah, he has 28,000 HP and almost 18,000 defense. We're gonna compare 2 characters here. These are going to be Shisui with only his kunai, and Madara with his Fire Soul Jutsu, and both of them will have 12,900 attack plus the 4 green kunais, and we're gonna see the difference right here. Alright, so we can tell the difference here between Madara's and Shisui's Fire Soul Jutsus. Madara's does a maximum of like 2,500 damage per critical hit, while Shisui does pretty much triple the damage, maybe even more. And he basically can take the full HP of Hokage Naruto, the 28,000 HP, in like 3 hits using these kunais. Now, if you're going to use these kunais, by the way, you need to use them from a little bit far away from the target, because it has some kind of a locking feature which doesn't work unless you are far away. So if you use it as a shotgun, let's say, and that's pretty much the first idea that comes to your mind. If you have a ninjutsu that does that much damage, if you hit all the 3 hits or all the hits, you normally use it as a shotgun, just like Sara does shurikens, or Itachi's shurikens, or the scatter showers of Sasori. But for Shisui, it's different because you need to be a little bit far from the target, so the kunais would find the target and lock themselves into the target and hit every single one of the kunais on the target. But if you use it as a shotgun, only one will hit and the other 2 will actually miss. So yeah, you want to use it from far enough to get all the 3 kunais to hit the targets. In general, I would say this ninjutsu is actually really good, just not enough to be a top tier ninjutsu. It doesn't do as much damage as the other shotgun ninjutsu that do a lot of damage, like the shurikens of both Sarada and Itachi, or the scatter showers of Sasori. However, it does quite a good damage. There's also one downside here, which is the CP cost. It's 130, and if you get into a fight where you have to use only these kunais or maybe the other ninjutsu and you don't have the ultimate ready, you're gonna waste a lot of CP using this ninjutsu. And there's also the problem where you normally have to be far from the target to actually get all the hits done. So most of the time you're gonna be only hitting like 1 or 2 of them and do not enough damage to kill the enemy in a short amount of time, and you're gonna have to use it a couple of times or more than a couple of times, which is actually going to be the problem. So the CP cost is a big problem. The fact that you have to use it from a distance is a problem, and well, basically it doesn't do that much damage to be in the top tier. However, it's definitely a second tier, which is actually not bad. It's a really good ninjutsu, and if you have it, make sure to max it out, because this is your second option to do a lot of damage if you don't have the ultimate ready, or if you missed the ultimate, which is actually possible. Alright, next up we have another amazing ninjutsu, which is the Combustive Sword Attack. This ninjutsu is really amazing as well. It has a 5600 power at max level, 55% critical hit rates, 100 CP cost, and only 3 seconds cooldown just like the other ninjutsu. Plus, it has a damage over time effect. The effect is small. And by the way, both of the ninjutsu have the damage over time effect small, which is, by the way, 35% of the total HP of the enemy. For the Sam boss, if it's not really, I mean, most of the time it's just 3.5%, not 35%. That's for the Sam boss though. For characters in general, in attack mission or so on, it's 35%. And they do not stack. So if you use one of them and then use the other, only the first one will actually work out until the effect is gone or done with a 35% HP, and then you can use it again from any of the other ninjutsu. So this ninjutsu is really good because you can use it as an iframe. It has an iframe in it. You can use it to escape ultimates with one hit, including Daida's terrible ultimate that pretty much destroys you. And you can use it as a teleport as well. If you don't have the current teleport in his kit, you can use this one as a teleport. Not a very convenient teleport though, because of the CB cost. It basically costs 2.5 of what the CB cost of the original teleport is. However, you can use it as a teleport if you want. You can have like a double teleport if you want. And it does 2 hits. The damage this time is divided over the 2 hits, and it goes through the small walls. So basically, you can take down the installations that are hiding behind the walls. So in general, this ninjutsu is actually really good. I would give it again a 2nd tier because, well, it's not a 4-star. It's not really doing that much damage. However, it does really good what it needs to do. There's one problem though, it's the CB cost, and the other problem is most of the time you will not be able to head the 2 heads of this ninjutsu, because if the enemy is right in front of you, just like the other ninjutsu that we talked about, the kunais, if the enemy is right in front of you and is like stuck or is stuck to you, most of the time you're just gonna head the first one, and the second one is gonna be behind him, where it actually doesn't get to him. Like the range is not big enough to get to him, so it's only gonna be half the damage of what it does. And the CB cost again is a problem. But of course the damage over time effect still puts both of the ninjutsu in a very high place, not in the top rank but in a 2nd rank, which is again a really good rank. Both of the ninjutsu are really amazing. Alright, moving on to one of the most important ninjutsu in this game, the teleport jutsu, which he has. Thankfully, thank God he has the teleport jutsu here. A lot of people would have been mad if he doesn't have this ninjutsu. So his teleport jutsu, I wanted to leave it till the end because it isn't really that hard to describe. It's a pretty simple ninjutsu. The only difference between this one and the other ones is the CB cost. It's 40 instead of 30. I believe it starts with the 70, and I'm really glad that it goes down to 40 because 70 would have been a problem considering the other ninjutsu are like burning through the CB. So yeah, basically he has 2 extra effects here. So the evasion rate is 85%, and this is, by the way, only against the regular attacks. Against the ninjutsu it's different. I guess it goes down to 40 or 30% against ninjutsu. Yeah, the time is 8.5 seconds, which I think is kind of 1 second off, but I'm not going to talk about that. I'm just going to go with the numbers here. The evasion rate is 85%, and the movement speed that you give to the whole team is 45% in the movement speed for 14 seconds, which is really great. You give a huge head start to the allies on the same floor at the beginning of the game, and every time you actually get into one floor together, where you have to clear the floor together. So yeah, this is a really amazing ninjutsu. I'm really glad he got a teleport, which is actually better than all the other teleports in the game. So yeah, this teleport is freaking awesome. Alright guys, it's time to talk about the most important part of this video, the ultimate, the Koto Amatsukami, one of the most broken ultimates in the game. Let's talk about each part of his ultimate because there's a lot to talk about here. And we're starting off with the Power. The base Power at level 1 is 4,300, which is actually pretty decent. I think the maximum power you can get on an ultimate at level 1 right now is 5,000, and 4,300 is pretty decent. Then the critical hit rate is 50% at level 1, which is crazy because most of the ultimates, or if not all the ultimates, have 1% only critical hit rate at level 1. This one starts at 50%, which is pretty understandable, and it makes sense because most green characters start with a really bad multiplier of attack. And as you can see right here, I have 10,667. I think with the decent, when I get rid of this ultimate right here, I guess I can get get it up to 11,000. Maybe the maximum I can get is an attack of 12,000, and that is not enough to actually one hit kill an enemy that has, like, I don't know, 28,000 HP, for example. And a critical hit rate with 50% is just enough to most of the time actually kill the enemy. So yeah, this is why the 50% is right here at level 1. I believe at level 8 it's 85%, which, yeah, most of the time you're gonna get the critical hit there. And by the way, it only does one hit. The ultimate doesn't do multiple hits, it's just one hit. And this is a big problem in case an enemy used an iframe during the ultimate. That means the ultimate is useless and it doesn't do any damage to them. Anyway, the CP cost is yet another problem to this ultimate. 700 CP cost. That's like the biggest CP cost in the game so far. And I mean, if we compare it to the critical hit rate, it makes sense. So 700 CP cost, and if you max out the abilities, it goes down from 700 to 602. So make sure to max out his abilities, not just for the CP cost, but also for the cooldown. The cooldown goes down from 60 to 55 at level 1, plus of course all the stats that you get for Shisui as base stats. At level 8, and as you go up in levels, of course, you lose some CP cost and you lose some cooldown. So at level 8, the CP cost would go down to, like, I don't know, 300 something, and the cooldown would go down to 41 seconds, which is crazy. So yeah, pretty much the only problem here is that he does only one hit ultimates, and the CP cost is very high at level 1. Now let's go over the effects in his kit. We're starting off with the damage over time effect, which is actually different from the ones Deidara and Shikamaru have in their kit. So as you can see right here, it's a large effect, and the large effect is basically 5% over 40 seconds. So it's every 2 seconds for 40 seconds. That means 100% at the end of the day, 100% of the total HP of the enemy. So basically, if the enemy has full HP, he gets hit with his ultimate. Most of the time he's gonna get some damage because of the initial hit, and then of course most of the rest of his HP is going to be going down to 0 for sure, unless he has a healer, which is gonna make it a little bit hard to heal anyway. But then it's not as hard as it is for Deidara and Shikamaru. So let's go ahead and check their stats, because they finally added these stats and it's really helpful, to be honest. So yeah, as you can see, the difference here between the Shikamaru's ultimate and the Shisui's ultimate, it's 0.1%, which is 10%. I mean, 0.1 is 0.1 is 10%, and 10% over 40 seconds for 20 hits. That's 200% of the total HP. So with healing, it's gonna take much more time to heal the damage of the damage over time effect that you do with Shisui's ultimates. So the huge effect is double as big as the large effect. So basically, again, the inflection of damage over time effect for Shisui is only 100%, 5% of the total HP every 2 seconds for 40 seconds. So there you go. Then we have the movement speeds, which goes down to by 70%. So basically, the enemy that gets hit with his ultimate is gonna be moving with only 30% of their speed for 11 seconds. Plus the seal effect, they're gonna be sealed for 15 seconds, which is really great. Yeah, basically that's everything except for something that they missed or forgot to add in the stats here, which is the invincibility. So the ultimate at the end also turns user invincible, and that's exactly actually the same as Tsunadi's ultimate, the old ultimate for Tsunade. So we're just gonna have to go there and check the stat here because they don't have it on Shisui. Right here, the invincibility is 10 seconds, and it's exactly the same for Shisui. So after he uses his ultimate, he gets invincible for 10 seconds. He doesn't get any damage in any kind of way, which is great because let's say, for example, you go in a fortress and you get hit by Madara's Fire Style Jutsu, or by Deidara's ultimate, or by Shikamaru's ultimate, and you start losing your HP because of the damage over time effect, or maybe Sasori with his poison effect, and you're losing that HP because of that effect on you. You can just use your ultimate, you're gonna kill them, and then turn invincible. You're not gonna lose any more HP from this damage over time effect, or the poison effect that you had on you before using the ultimate. So this basically cures you from all the status elements that does damage over you, and yeah, it's just crazy. The ultimate is actually freaking overpowered, to be honest. The only problem here is the CB cost, and maybe, I don't know, the cooldown is not really a problem in my opinion, but just the fact that it does only one hit. If an enemy uses an iframe in the middle of your ultimate most of the time, or before even you use your ultimate, they're going to be able to escape your ultimate, and your ultimate is going to be useless. Even though it covers the whole map, it's still, like, some enemies can still escape from this ultimate using their iframes. Someone like Madara, who has like 2 iframes in his kit, is going to be really easy for him to escape your ultimate, which is probably a big problem. However, the CB cost can be out... how to say this, I forgot the word. You can just fix this problem by leveling up your ultimates. So this is one thing I wanted to say, guys. If you don't have a lot of Shinobites, and even if you love Shisui that much, I think it's better to just not summon on him, because level 1 ultimate is not really the optimal way to go in this game. The only reason I would say someone should use Shisui with a level 1 ultimate is if they don't have Itachi. So if you have Itachi's rekit or full kit, this kit, for example, this kit right here. If you have this kit right here, you don't have to summon on Shisui, in my opinion. I think Shisui pretty much outclasses some characters like Minato, and maybe Tobirama, maybe Madara in attack mission as a main, but he doesn't outclass Itachi. And we're gonna do a comparison video later on Shisui and Itachi to tell you the difference between both of them and why Itachi is still better, in my opinion. But yeah, a lot of people can say that it's actually not the case, and maybe Shisui is actually better when you have his ultimate at high level, like level 5 or 8. And that might be true, but I'm talking about level 1 ultimate here. Level 1 ultimate doesn't help you play well in attack missions, especially if you don't have these top tier cards that you got from the Sam number 3, or you bought them from the shop. These cards are very useful, and you actually need them to make level 1 ultimate Shisui work in the attack mission. But other than that, I think his kit in general is broken. And if you have enough to do the step up summon, go ahead and summon. Pretty much, most of the time you're gonna get like multiple ultimates if you're lucky. If you're unlucky, you're not gonna get anything. I mean, I've seen a couple of people that don't. Okay, a lot of people that didn't get any ultimate from the full step up, and it's okay. However, I would say the rate in general is actually pretty good, and it's pretty decent. So yeah, this is it for this video, guys. Thank you all for watching. There's going to be another video comparing Shisui with Itachi. In my opinion, at level 1 ultimate, I still think Itachi is better than Shisui. And in general, Itachi is still better, slightly better than Shisui. Shisui is actually really good, however. And in general, he's a double S tier for attack mission as a main character. But in general, I think Itachi is still better than him in pretty much everywhere in the game, even in attack mission as a main character. So yeah, thank you all for watching, guys. I'll see you guys in the next one. See ya.